Welcome to the Cross the Line podcast. My name is Carlos Smith, and I'm back again with two special guests. These ladies are the hosts of Surviving 20's, and right now I'm sitting with Miss Bria Whitehurst and Trill Whitfield. How are y'all?
We are wonderful. How are you?
Man, I can't complain. I'm glad y'all were able to come sit down with me and talk
absolutely.
a little bit. So let's just start off with saying, for the people who don't know, just tell us what the show Surviving 20's is actually about.
So, Surviving 20's is a platform for 20-year-olds, by 20-year-olds, just to highlight the struggle in everyday life when you're 20, the ups and downs, but more so about like what you're overcoming, what you learned about yourself in that transition in life from being early 20s, mid 20s to late 20s.
Yeah. Whose idea was it to actually start the whole Surviving 20's?
I'll take that one. So, Bria and I have been friends for a very long time. So we talk about our goals and our dreams and our aspirations a lot. And I would say that we're both we have a hustle mentality. So we're always looking and trying to figure out what we want to do next. So we were talking and she said, you know, I have this vision of writing these books. There's two different types of books I want to write. And one of them is about surviving 20s. And all the things that I've been through and giving helpful tips and just helping people in their 20s, giving them a self-help book, kind of like the chicken noodle soup books that we used to read. That's kind of what she had in mind. And I said, when she told me her plan, I said, I got goosebumps. I said, Bria, that's more than a book. That's a movement. That's a whole entire movement. That's a Facebook Live. That's the Instagram page. That's a clothing line. That's so much more than just a book. And so when I said that, I think like maybe a day or two later, she was like, I want us to do this. And I was like, you want us to do this? Because I'm always in her corner. Whatever she does, I'm a supporter. I'm like, you want me to be a part? And she was like, yeah, I don't want to do it with nobody else but you. And that, I was crying. I was like, are you serious? Because this is God sent. Like, I know that this is what we're supposed to be doing.
And I know I could tell just like watching y'all interviews and stuff, like the chemistry that y'all have. And I was going to ask how long have y'all been knowing each other, because just on camera it just seems like y'all get along with everything, just like well planned.
7 years now?
7 years.
2012?
Yeah,
7 years.
I can tell. Just watching, I'm like, man, they got really good chemistry already, so I really enjoy it. And what's some of the criteria actually for Surviving 20?
The criteria for Surviving 20s. So you're required to be in your 20s or just getting out of your 20s. So, 29, 30, 31, 32, that's fine. But you have to be in your 20s, and then you have to be willing to open up. You have to be a little bit vulnerable, and you have to have gotten past whatever it is that you are surviving. So for example, if we're doing a segment on surviving the death of a parent in your 20s, we don't want you to come on if your parent just passed away like a few weeks ago. We don't, right? Because you're still going through that. Mm-hmm. We want someone who has overcome that already, who has done the work, so that you can explain to people who are going through it, what the next step is.
And so far, how would y'all say, how long have y'all been doing it? It's been since October.
Yeah.
How do y'all view the success of it so far?
We probably have different opinions on that.
You can go first. Yeah, because I'm still thinking you can give your opinion.
I feel like it was shocking to me, because I felt like when we first did our premiere in October, we wouldn't get a good response. Mm-hmm. But the response was overwhelming. Like, more people come to us in private than they do on the actual social media platform. Like, we get
and that's kind of
emails.
Right.
And like, oh, we love what you're doing, want you to do more, but we don't get that like for other people to see it. It's only in private, so I think people are kind of still getting used to the idea of being open about it.
And I think one of the things about doing it is like when you just starting out, it's like you just have to actually start, because you don't know how it's going to go. So when I started this last year, I was just like, I'm just finally about to go all in and invest in myself and do it and just see where it goes. And of course, along the way, you're going to get different ideas and brainstorm different things, do stuff different. But I just been amazed where I've been traveling to and the people that I've been interacting with. So what are some of the things that you guys have already adjusted to when you first started out? What are some things that you've done differently?
I think on the personal side, it was more so communication with us and establishing healthy boundaries, because we are friends first. And like before the second episode, it was like Surviving 20's is counsel. Wow. So we had to come together as we had to come together as friends and be like, okay, this is how I want to approach this matter, but this is how I also want to approach our friendship. Mm-hmm. Let's establish that boundary. So when we started, then it was just like, so this idea, okay, I know this person. So everything that we have done has just been a blessing because we've already had the resources and the tools. So it's just been amazing.
So what do y'all say is like the actual hardest part of doing your own show?
The hardest part to me is the dedication, because sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Like, I just went through a lot. Like, I was engaged and I broke my engagement off, and I was devastated. It was around my birthday. I got sick, like really sick. So it was like she had to really take on everything. Mm-hmm. I couldn't be dedicated. Like, mentally, I was not there. Emotionally, I was not there. So I think for me is staying dedicated and staying committed, because it's like a marriage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just take days off. So that's kind of something that I'm adjusting to.
I think that as well, because it's like that work-life balance, because it's not full-time. This is something I do in my part-time. However, I still have to be present. So between being a graduate student, working full-time, having friends, trying to go out, but also making sure that I'm posting, I'm emailing people back. So just finding that balance.
And you said something about your engagement. That was one of my questions. Yeah.
I watched the show. Personal?
Yeah, I'm glad you watched the show. He's a real fan.
I love to see people like our age creating good content, man. Like I always tell people now, man, we need to invest in ourselves, because I want to be known as more than just a job or somebody else. Because at the end of the day, exactly, like because all they're gonna do is just find somebody else to
replace you.
Exactly. So engagement, that was definitely one of my questions that I want to ask you about. But before we get to that, what do y'all actually want to do with the show? Like, what's the
mission?
Yeah, what's the mission?
So I would say, you want to take it? Yeah.
And do y'all also on top of that, do y'all call it a podcast, or is it just like an actual show? What do y'all?
Surviving 20's is a movement. It's not. I don't want to give it a label of being a podcast or a TV show. Like, if you look on our Facebook, it's a TV show, but it's just a motivational platform. Now, our mission is to support people that look like us, that are our age, people that are going through similar things that we're going through, to inspire them. Like, so we're always posting memes, positivity, but we're also saying, okay, your life is effed up right now. It's okay. Right, so we want to support, we want to inspire, and we also want to bring resources, because it's hard for someone in their 20s to know that, oh, I have a drug problem, I need help. They don't know where to go, so we want to bring them that. Or if you want to, we just did an interview with a homeowner. She's 22. She just bought her first home. A lot of people in their 20s don't know how easy it is for us to get our home. That's something that the government, the state, they don't want us to know about those resources we have that can help us own our own stuff, because they want us to be stuck. Right. So we want to fight against that and bring that to the light.
Bring that awareness.
Yeah.
What's a story for each of you that, from somebody that y'all already interviewed, that y'all felt like kind of closely related to each one of these situations?
I think we just interviewed a lady that felt the bar exam, but she's a lawyer now, and she was just saying about being perseverance and never giving up. And for me, with grad school, it was just one of those things. I wanted to drop out. I had so much going on, but she was like, don't give up. And then being an African-American woman in, graduate school, you're only one. So I always feel like I have to do this for the community. And for her saying, like, I felt the same way, don't give up, like, it hit home in with me, just knowing that I have to be that representation in the room and then in the community.
So what are you actually going to grad school for?
So, and this ties in Surviving 20's as well. I'm going to school to be a counselor, but my degree is in social work.
Okay.
So with Surviving 20's, I wanted it to be a platform where people could just be vulnerable and they could get those resources, because we don't know how to cope with real life. Absolutely. And when it comes to generational, when you look at it, your mother, she didn't say it, or she said pray about it, or your father turned to a bottle, or you're sleeping with multiple women, or things like that are just not healthy coping mechanisms. So I wanted Surviving 20's to be introduced as a place where you can be vulnerable, you can talk about things, but you can also talk about, look, I got this problem that I always think lowly about myself. How can I reverse my cognition? So I wanted to get that psychology feel into it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's getting a lot of practice.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it's something like I try to do as well, because there's so much stuff I didn't know, and just with college and just life in general. So when I get to talk to entrepreneurs, I always try to pick their brain about advice and things they would do differently and some stuff that we should do differently. And one of the things they always say is just like, just start early and just because you'll figure out different ways and figure out what you want to do in life, but you just got to start early.
Yeah.
But how do y'all feel like the role of college played in your life?
Well, okay, so the role of college. Let's hold that question for a second because I want to answer your last question about what show connected with me because mine's different from hers.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
For me, it was the first segment we did with Angel.
Oh yeah.
It was the first segment we did, and she is an alcohol counselor.
She's a social worker, and she's right now getting her certification in addiction. So like alcohol, drug addiction, stuff like that. That one hit more home for me because in my relationship, my significant, and I haven't said this on camera, and I kind of feel like maybe I shouldn't, but my ex-fiance, he struggled with alcohol addiction, and I was struggling with what to do, So she gave me a lot of tips, and like, it really is a disease, and you have to look at it that way. It has to be handled. You can't just fuss at that person. You can't just expect them to quit cold turkey. So it helped me change my expectations. Right. It helped me change my expectations around addiction in general. So I would say that for the last question. But you said, how did college impact?
Because I know something else I seen in the interview, the year in review, you were saying that I think it was your junior year that you stopped with college because so much was going on, and college is like it's tough. It's a rough journey, and I tell people all the time now, like I don't know, and I write about. I'm working on my own book as well, and I tell people now, like if I had to go back and do it again, I don't even know if I'd have went to college because I just the way it's set up, it's like
it's a trap.
Yeah, it's like you just fall into debt. It's like congratulations, you got a piece of paper. Now go pay this $40,000, $50,000.
You don't even make enough to pay the payments they want you to pay.
Exactly.
Like it's sick.
I'm on the other side of it because college was beneficial to me, and also it was that awareness, knowing the right resources. Because like for me, when I graduated, yes, I had debt, but I paid off 6 loans, and I have 5 remaining from undergrad, and I have maybe 4 from graduate. So it was just knowing those connections and knowing how to play the field.
And for me, let me say for me, did you actually know what you wanted to go to school for?
Yes.
See, for me, I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I just felt like, and I tell people all the time, for me, I feel like we put a lot of pressure on kids to go to school.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because we have people, how they have people from different colleges come to the school and talk to you, and it's like, I just felt like that's what you're supposed to do. Like at the high school, you're supposed to go to college. And it's like, no, you don't necessarily have to go to college. Like, you can go to work. And I would tell people now, if you don't want to go to college, don't go because you're wasting time and money. My approach now is to, at the high school, you don't have a full ride or anything like that. Kind of go to work for maybe a year or two, just kind of see like what you want to do, and then go back to school. Because it's just like, man, if you just go in. Because I didn't figure out what I really wanted to do until like my senior year. So I was like, man, I just wasted so much time and money just being there.
I would have just gotten associates like my mama told me to. I just went to Greenwood Tech, did 2 years, and been out. So now I have college debt, and I don't have the piece of paper that I need to make, whatever they say I'm supposed to make. But for me, not going to college didn't stop anything. I'm still doing what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we differ in that, and I think that's a good thing. That's what gives us diversity. But it didn't stop my show. I'm still in HR, which is what I wanted to do when I went to college.
You think you'll go back? Or you think
absolutely. I'll go back. Like what happened my last semester is I dropped out after the dropout date. So I ended up on Upstate like two bands. And I was just like, 2 bands? Okay, I'm gonna pay it one day. So they wouldn't release my transcript until I paid it. So I'm almost done paying off. I owe like $700. I'm gonna knock that out, and then I think I'm probably just gonna go to Webster or something online really quick because I work second shift. I'm a second shift trainer for a bank, and so I'm probably just gonna do that or come to University Center, take a few classes, and knock it out.
I think I tell people all the time, I think I'm done. It's a wrap.
Understandable.
I mean, that's fine. Like I feel like that sometimes too is just I think I'm doing it more for my parents and my grandparents. If I can be honest, I didn't want to start something and not finish. So I'm a finish eventually.
And see, I think that's a lot of times we feel like that's kind of pressure, you know, being our age, because we feel like we don't want to let our parents and grandparents down. So we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. And you know, for them, my parents, they took out loans so I could go to college. So I felt like I definitely owed it to them to make sure I finished school. But when I went there, man, you
should never do anything to make someone else happy. And I think I understand that, but it's like, it's a part of me, I can't not finish what I started. Like, I have to finish it.
All right, now let's get back to, like you said earlier, about the engagement. Because I watched the show, and you said that was part of like the biggest disappointment, and that it ended last year. What, can you talk a little bit more? You said, of course.
Yeah. So my fiance and I, we had known each other. We've known each other since we were 15 and 16. We go way back. So we tried to date then, but I wasn't supposed to be dating, so it was just kind of like, oh, we text when I can, we talk on the phone when I can, we see each other at football games, whatever. So we kind of ended it there, and we were just like, okay, if it's meant to be, it'll come back around. So 9 years later, I was single, he was single. The thing I would say about me, and one of the reasons I'm going to counseling, is I'm a fixer, I'm a problem solver, so I tend to attract wounded birds, is what I call it, like a man who really doesn't know how to be a man and doesn't really have much to offer in terms of stability. So in my relationship, when I got in my relationship, he was actually on house arrest. Like, a lot of people don't know that. My fiance was on house arrest for the first 6 months of our relationship. But because I knew him already, I was like, you know, I know how it is for a black man to feel real down on himself, and like, you're on house arrest, which means you're around your loved ones, but you really can't go nowhere or do nothing. All you can do is go to work and come home, and that's it. And that's what attributed to his addiction. But I wanted to kind of be that light in his life, like, oh, you can't go out to restaurants, I'll bring you food from that restaurant, we'll have dates at the house, I'll do whatever I can to make this next 6 months easy for you. So being trapped in the house for 6 months, like, I was there with him every day that I could be. So when he got off of house arrest, I think we were both in a place where we should move in together because we can, because now you're free now, and we can do that. But it wasn't a smart decision. So we jumped into that, and he was just, it wasn't right. It wasn't him. It was, you take somebody from an environment they've been in from a year, you put these expectations on them that they cannot fulfill when you want them to. So I had unrealistic expectations. He made empty promises. We made a lot of bad financial decisions and a lot of bad mental and emotional decisions, and it just became very toxic. I began to become someone, due to the resentment of promises that were made to hold up his end of the bargain, and you know, the finances and stuff. I became resentful, like angry, like, you told me that you would make sure I was good. Like, if I lost it all today, there's nothing, you couldn't pick us up, you couldn't hold us up, and I can't do that. So I think in us getting engaged, it was a Band-Aid solution. It was like,
just thinking everything was gonna
like out. It'll be fine. If we get engaged, that's gonna make him get on his, I don't know if I could, it's gonna make him get on his stuff, basically.
Right.
That wasn't the case. So I became very resentful, and I honestly became someone that I did not recognize, and that's what hurts me the most. Like, when I would look in the mirror, I'd be like, I don't know you. I'm a typically happy, goofy person, but I became this angry, mean person. Like, I was just look at him in his sleep and be like, I just don't like you. And I'm not happy when I wake up in the morning. Right? That is kind of scary. Like, she gonna kill me in my sleep. No, but he would do so much. He would try so hard, but it almost became like I was a mother and he was a child, so there was no affection. It's like, you're my, and that sounds so insulting, right? And I'm not trying to sound insulting,
that's
but
reality.
It felt like, I'm taking care of you. I'm taking care of everything. I don't want to kiss you. I don't want to hold your hand.
So is he kind of like in a good space now, or do you know, like, or is he just cut it all off completely?
We text every now and then, but when a person is in denial about their status, they're not going to change it because they don't see anything wrong with it, and that was my issue.
And it's funny that you said it, because one of my favorite albums from last year was Royce the 5'9" Book of Ryan, and he was talking about addiction, and his father had an addiction, and how he just became abusive, and how it kind of like affected him. What kind of effect did it have on you to, like, mentally?
It just made me, like I said, made me a different person, made me a very evil person. Like, it was to the point where, and I'm a victim of domestic violence, but I began to want to be physical because I couldn't express myself no other way. It was just anger, and all I saw was red. So it really, I was very miserable. That was the effect it had on me. I was miserable.
So Bria, you said you were going to be a counselor, right? Mm-hmm. So what kind of stuff do you tell her in her situation?
Counsels me all the time.
More so, we do reflective communication. So I may ask her a question about, like, so what do you tolerate? Because I think sometimes it's, and nothing against Tria, but in general, it's always this person and that person, but it's like, what do you tolerate? Examine what you tolerate. So we do more reflective communication, and I just listen. Because I've learned, and with being her life partner, as a friend, not but as her life partner, Tria has taught me to listen.
Right.
And as a therapist, as a counselor, people think I'm supposed to give advice. No, I just need for you to listen to what you're saying, and I might add my little 2 cents, and that's it.
Yeah, I would say I have really great friends, and that's important. You have to surround yourself with good people. When I say that, it's like you have friends sometimes where you go to them and you tell them about your significant other. They're like, girl, you need to leave him. Cut it off. And it's like, it's not that easy.
No.
I have friends, and Bria's my main confidant, and she just listens. She doesn't judge me. She doesn't say, girl, you stupid for dealing with that. Why you still dealing? I've never once heard that come out of her mouth. As bad as she may, like, in the pit of her heart, being my big sister, want to say, Tria, I want you to come out of it. She has never said that to me, and I appreciate that.
Do y'all feel pressure for relationship? Do y'all feel pressure to get married and have kids?
Pressure.
So the timeline.
The timeline, we talked about that, right?
Yeah, we talked about the timeline on Surviving 20's. As of this moment, no, I don't. I've learned, because I went to therapy as well, is that when you want to be in a relationship, review the relationships that you're already in with your friends, your family. So if you're so focused on, well, I want this type of man, I want that, I want him to be loyal and X, Y, and Z, are you that person? Are you that person to your friends? Are you that person to your mama when they need you? So if not, it just brought revelation to me that I need to work on me. Mm-hmm. I can't expect a husband or a significant other right now if I'm not dependable, if I'm not communicating. So for me, no.
For me, I think I'm the type of person, I have to make mistakes physically in order to learn from them. So my engagement has taught me that I do not want to be married. I am not ready to be married to anyone. I have to work on myself. I'm going to therapy soon, actually next week, and I'm really hoping that it will open up some doors and help me know more about myself. But I'm in no hurry to get married or have kids, but I want that one day. I want it one day.
And I want to know about therapy, because that was in my notes again about therapy, because me and my girlfriend, my queen, I love her, and I put us in a really tough situation, man, because a lot of the stuff I look back on, man, I was foul. Like, I did a lot of foul stuff, but she just hung around and she forgave me. And actually, we're talking about setting up therapy. Actually, I want to make some calls tomorrow to set up therapy and kind of like help fix our relationship, because I did a lot of stuff that hurt her.
They need to go to your therapist. Yeah. She's good.
So I was going to ask, like, what does therapy do for you?
Therapy is just a mirror. It's just a reflection. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about it, I'm sorry, I can't get it out, is that when you go, you set the expectation of what you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And then it goes from there, and you'll get homework, but it's all up to you to change, ultimately. And
because that's what I said, man, for me, you know, we had our heart to heart, and she broke down crying, and I said, like, in senior year, man, I had a child by another female, and then she was ended up getting pregnant at the same time. So when she found out about it, man, it broke her heart. But you know, we tried to fix it, and we never really went to therapy. We always, you know, for me, I always felt like I was just trying to put it in the back of my mind.
Get over it.
Yeah, just trying to get over it. You know, it still hurt her. And now we got to a point now where it's like, man, you know what? For me, I just felt like, you know, I'm tired of like holding all this in. I feel like I need somebody to talk to for us to kind of help build our relationship and get it to where we are. Because I was like, man, it just got to a point where it's like it's not worth running around and losing what you have. Because I have 2 girls by her, and I was like, I don't want my daughters to see how I'm running around. Like, I was like, it's not the move. Yep. So I was just like, man, let me go ahead, because I want to be. And plus, like me and her talked about, man, it made me look crazy when I sit down and talk to all these people and share stories, and then I'm going around living a different life. Like, it's like, man,
I feel like I was the same. I felt the same way.
Yeah. So I was just like, man, let me be a reflection of what I want to see and helping people out. So I'm like, man, let me just change it. So we're definitely going to therapy because I think it's something much needed. But it just feels like when you going to therapy, when you tell people you're going to therapy, they automatically think something wrong, like mentally.
What is that? I don't understand that.
It's that all or none syndrome where, something had to happen, someone died.
You're crazy. I literally told my mom I was going to therapy, and she told me, you know who the real therapist is, right?
Yeah.
God.
And it's cultural.
And I said, well, maybe God is sending me a therapist to help me. Maybe that's God sent. Like, it's a
especially with our people in our community. Our people,
we just start.
It's like go pray, talk to grandma, talk to uncle, and it's like I need someone that does not know me.
Expert. But I think one thing Bria told me about therapy is you have to be willing to be vulnerable. So when you all do go to therapy, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and open up and revisit some stuff, and you may reopen some old wounds, and you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm at that point now because I was like, man, it's not worth it, man. Let me just clean. I came out and straight up honest about stuff, and it hurt to hear it,
but think about it. How many people wants to be honest, truly honest about themselves?
Completely honest. Nobody. That's scary. Most of us
so
don't even know ourselves.
We're living in a time where we're just going through the motions. And so things are piling up. They're piling up until one instance. It could be a glass break and you're crying, or you're punching a wall and you don't know why. It's because you haven't honored your feelings. You haven't honored that trauma that has been through, or someone that broke your heart. Now you're breaking other people's hearts.
And holding that stuff in for so long, and like you said, it could be that one little small thing just make you just snap. And that's crazy.
I think we all have to be aware of that too. Like as a friend, as a daughter, as a significant other, that people have their own story in their own life that is separate from you. But when brought into a situation, you have to be able to really connect with that person and figure out what they're going through, to understand them. Like, we put these expectations on another person, like, oh, you're my friend, so you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to feel this way. When you do something wrong, you're supposed to come to me and tell me. And those are unrealistic expectations that you're putting on someone. If you stop putting expectations on people, you won't be as disappointed.
Absolutely.
And that's something I'm working with every day.
What do y'all think y'all would do differently? From everything that you know now, from just being in mid-20s and school and everything, what do you think, if you could go back, let's say maybe to after high school, 7-8 years back, what do you think you'd do differently now since you know some of the things you've done now?
I would have loved myself more, honed in on my craft. Because I think sometimes you deal with that timeline of, I'm going to college, I'm going to find love, I'm going to get married, I'm going to get the job, and it's like, that's not reality. And I'm still holding, like she said, those expectations of who I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to look as a female, especially as a black female, just having all these false expectations of everything, and just figuring out, what do I truly like? What am I going to tolerate? Is this what I want to do? Is this the person that I want to be? I work with youth, so I always hone in on, who do you want to be when you grow up? Not what you want to become, but what's the person? What's the character like?
Right.
So that's, I think, if I had to do it all over again, I would have thought about my character. Who do I want to become?
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. But I would have taken college. I would have taken it more serious. I would have been less invested in trying to be with somebody, and less distracted by trying to be with somebody, and I would have definitely been more serious about college, for sure. And then I would have been more okay with being alone, because now I'm at this point in my life where I'm up and down with being alone. And if you can't be alone and you can't learn what makes you happy by yourself, no one can ever make you happy. So I would learn how to be happy, and I would learn more about myself so that I can be happy on my own.
Just a few more questions, and then we'll wrap up the Cross the Line podcast. Was there anybody that y'all were afraid to let down?
No.
Yeah, I don't care.
No. No.
I guess I would say my siblings. I have 3 younger siblings. My sister's 15. My brother is 21. I also have a sister that's 21. Them, because they look up to me. And there are things that have happened that I wasn't my best self, and I did not give off the right message. So those are the only people I care about at this point.
When do y'all feel like you or man, this is gonna be a tough one. I feel like you might have to feel like you need to have everything figured out in life.
Is there are we asking like what age?
Yeah, like an age or at what point, whatever, however you want to answer.
Bria's pretty old, so.
Oh, hush. It's funny because in therapy, I was telling my therapist that I had graduation blues. So I graduate May of this year, and I just felt like I had to start over again. You mean I gotta find another job again? I have to do all of that. And what I learned is you'll never be the person that like, okay, I've reached my limit. So I don't think I'll ever be ready because I'm always developing. I'm always going through adversities. So I'm always becoming. So there's no certain age.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, a couple more and then we'll wrap it up. New Year's resolution for both of you, since this is a new year.
I don't believe in resolutions.
I want to work harder at being a better sister. And like I said, I'm going to therapy to get to know myself more so that I can break some of the habits and why I end up with the type of men that I end up with. And it's always a resolution for me to get on the health kit and stay on it. So.
And do y'all have a ultimate goal which y'all want to accomplish?
With surviving 20s or just in general?
In general.
In general, finish school. I would love to own a home in the next year and a half. And, just get surviving 20s popping off because I'm tired of working.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's the mission. It's important. And we have so many goals for surviving 20s and things that we want to do and what we want it to become. So, yeah.
Because I really like it, man. I enjoy it. That's why when I'm riding my car or whatever, I always try to make sure I'm tuning in.
We have a fan.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I love to see, like, dope content, man. And I always tell people that. I love to see people doing something positive and trying to make a change. So, Surviving 20s, can we expect this to be, like, long-term? Like, it's in it for the long term?
Going to universities and talking to especially those first generational kids who don't know anything about school. They don't have any support. We want to be there. So that's what we want to do.
Yeah. We have so much. We have that, like, how let's say we did, what was that class? College 101?
Yeah.
That first year, we would love for Surviving 20s to
go in.
Yeah, to do that and have contracts with the colleges, and we're doing a panel soon, so we want that to be something we do often. Networking events. I want to do like a 90s themed networking event where if you have a business or you have your podcast, you can come out and we can just network with each other and show that in our 20s, we aren't worthless. Like, we are out here grinding. It's people in their 20s, we out here getting it. And we are so undervalued in the world. So,
as millennials, we're definitely undervalued.
One more thing I thought about before I let you give out your social media. I know when you post your content and you shouting out people who are doing positive things, like graduating and everything. I did see, I don't know who did it, but one of you said, please do not try to slide into the DMs on Surviving 20s.
Oh my God.
Who was that?
Yes.
I saw that.
Hey, me. No. This is about business. This is work, okay?
So no slide into the DMs.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, you know what, I made sure I didn't know.
Come on now.
All right, well, I appreciate y'all ladies. I really enjoyed it. Before we get out of here, can y'all give everybody your social media?
Yeah, so on Facebook, we are at Surviving without the G, 20s, 20 in a lowercase s, Surviving 20s. And you'll see our logo. We just actually came out with our logo, so it'll be the S20s in the middle with a circle and it says Surviving 20s. But we also have a private group, a discussion board that you can join to, so you can look both of those up. And then the Instagram, I have to look it up. Bria is a social media queen. Oh, it's the same. You made it the same?
Yeah.
You're so smart. It's the same. No, it doesn't have an S on the end, so it's Surviving 20s without the S.
Oh yeah,
and our giveaway.
I was gonna say don't forget about the giveaway.
So we have this giveaway going, and it's just as a means to like get our name out there more, but also connect with our fans and our supporters and give stuff back. So we're coming up with 2 survival kits, because the question we always ask on our show is what's in your survival kit. So we're gonna do a self-care survival kit, which will probably be like a massage. Y'all need to join this, get in on this giveaway. This is gonna be like a massage, you know, maybe
gas
some movie
cards.
tickets, gas cards, Walmart. Like, we're doing a lot of stuff like that, and then we'll have some merchandise, some Survivor 20's merchandise in there. So that, please make sure that you're doing a giveaway. It's until the last day of January. We'll pick the winner on live that following show, and we're looking for 2 winners. You have to share our logo, and you have to hashtag surviving giveaway.
And make sure that you're following us. Like,
you
don't participate, you don't
us.
follow.
Yeah, you're not getting nothing.
Yeah. All right, well, I appreciate you ladies again. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, yeah. Anytime y'all want to come by again, make sure y'all stop by. So
we can interview together. Like, you can interview them and we can interview them at the same time. We can make this like a surviving cross the line. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cross the line surviving.
Exactly. I really enjoy it. And it's all about positivity and doing something to help other people out. You know, anything else y'all wanted to?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's ask you, what's in your survival kit these
In my
days?
survival
What's in your survival kit?
Just being honest.
Being honest?
Yeah, honesty is the key, man, for me. You know, with everything that I'm doing now, I just have to be honest, man. Because like I said, I just got tired of like keeping secrets and holding everything in and just holding myself accountable. Like I said, I'm a father of 3 now, so it's just like I gotta hold myself accountable, because I don't want them to see how I just messed up and I always ran away from my situations and not coming clean. I just want them to see a great dad who's always working hard, and I want them to see how I invested in myself, and I want them to know that don't settle for anything, because a lot of times nowadays we'll say, well, I'm making these sacrifices for my kids, so I'm not doing all that. So, but my mentality was, if I settle and stay at this job, I feel like I'm being selfish, because if I stay here, that shows them that it's okay to settle for a job and just to stay somewhere and be safe and to not go after your dreams. So I just want to hold myself accountable and just show my kids, you know, be accountable, be respectable. Money matters to take places money won't. And I'm just all about just being positive, helping other people along the way.
Awesome.
Yep.
I love that. That's awesome. So, what else are you surviving? This is my last question. We're gonna go. What else are you surviving? So, you talked to us a little bit about your relationship status and how you're going to go to counseling. So, you're surviving, rebuilding your relationship, the podcast, of course, which is popping. What else are you surviving?
Student loan.
Yeah,
that's the main one. Yeah, like
good grief.
well, I kind of got Sally Mae off my back in a way, because my story is crazy. I talk a lot about it. I'm detailing a lot of stuff in my book.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna look at the podcast.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, one of the things I did was like I was actually working at a radio station in Greenville, Intercom Radio, working part time, and I was there still at Costco, but at the time I had to. When my Sally Mae student loan kicked in, I was paying $500 a month. So I was like, how in the world can I pay $500 a month and take care of my kids? And they wouldn't. They was like, I'm sorry, but whatever your payment is set up is, that's what you have to pay. So I ended up having to leave the radio station, get another full-time job just to pay them. Yeah. So I finally got to a point where I got it reconsolidated through the bank, and it made everything like more manageable. More manageable. So that's definitely the biggest thing, is student loans, because I'm still.
We gotta have you on the show to talk about student loans for sure. Yeah, we'll set something up.
Yeah, that's why I hate saying it. I was like, I don't want to tell people not to go to college, because I think it's a great thing for everybody. You need to get your education, but you just need to know what you're going for, man.
Sure. They know the difference.
A lot of people just, you giving me money? Yeah. Oh, let me just sign off. I need the money, and don't even think about it. And
I thought it was just cool, like the beginning of the semester when you go to school and they give you this refund check. I feel like it's tax season. I'm just ready to ball out.
I pay every refund check, threw it back at them.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, man. I was just like, man, I'm just living in the moment.
Yeah. It's hard. It's tempting not to spend that money.
Yeah. And it's weird. You know what's weird was the little bit of money, a couple $1,000 I would get back. I can make that stretch for like the whole semester.
Oh yeah, a lot of people did depend on their refund check.
But now I can't even.
What that's gonna do
Different
for me?
circumstances.
Yeah, it's like, man, I can't even make.
And that $2,000, you gotta pay them $10,000 back.
Yes.
Good grief.
But yeah, I always tell you on kids know the difference between the loans because it's two types of loans. It's one that accrue interest while you're in school, and the one that doesn't. So the one that accrue interest, minimize that. Don't take as much out. The other one, maximize it. So that's how you get that refund check. When you graduate, pay it back.
Yeah, I would say, man, if you can, you get a full ride.
That too.
Yeah. But like, if you do what you're supposed to do in college, it's not that hard to get a full ride. Like, if you play a sport or you're really good academically.
Yeah.
I lost my life scholarship my junior year just from BSing. You know what I'm saying? And that could have been less money I'm paying back to student loans.
Yeah. So that's like really the hardest part. And I'm talking about a lot of this stuff in my book, man. I can't wait to. I don't know when it's coming out yet.
That's what I was gonna ask. When's it coming out?
I have no clue.
You're just writing. It's like a passion project. So it just.
What happened was once I got my loans situated and I was working 2 jobs, I quit one of them, and that same day I went back home. I just started writing. And I
hear that's therapy. Writing.
It is.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's like therapy.
Because when I look at my story, I'm like, man, I've been through a lot already.
They don't even realize it. That's the
surviving
point.
20s.
That's the point. People don't even realize how much they've been through and how it's affecting them. You're just going through emotions.
Yeah. So I was like, I feel like I definitely need to put this book out because it's gonna help a lot of people who went to school and who may not have felt like it was worth it,
and who thinking about going to school. Is gonna touch a lot of people. Yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely one of the things. I have maybe I want to say 10 chapters.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
But I still need to get somebody to go
edit it. Yeah, it's gonna be edited a good 10 times before you release it.
Just my mindset is I feel like it's a New York Times bestseller. That's
how you're supposed to. That's how you're supposed to say.
And it is, and we better get that exclusive interview.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got y'all for the interview.
Book club.
All right. Book club. Okay.
Book club.
No doubt.
Well, thank you, Carlos, for answering our questions and having us here.
That was easy.
Yeah, that was it for us. Yeah. Like we don't have to do like a whole thing. We gonna have you come back on and talk specifically about surviving these student loans. And maybe we can have you and your girl come on once you go through therapy and talk about how y'all overcame that.
Yeah, I'm open to it. As long as she open to it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. So I hope everybody enjoyed this interview. From surviving 20s to cross the line. Remember, stay out the DMs. No sliding in the DMs.
Stay out the DMs, honey.
Exactly.
You can DM me personally, though, if you got your stuff together. I'm single.
Okay, shoot your shot, fellas. But until next time, keep chasing dreams. This is Cross the Line Podcast. Thank you for listening.
All right, survivors.